We've moved a lot through the years. Multiple apartments and houses in different states, then into different RVs, and even a van overseas. We're old hands at moving and feel confident with our abilities. But the closing and move onto Makani rocked our world. We're fairly new to sailing and on a tight budget. We needed a turnkey boat, and we're doing everything we could to ensure that we got one. After finding a boat that we were interested in and agreeing to a price, knowing what we know now, we definitely overpaid for her. But that's on us for being who we are. We're those nice, naive, trusting people. You know, suckers. It's who we are. Anyway, we found our boat and had her surveyed. She needed new standing rigging, new running rigging, the winches serviced, AC fixed, a generator fixed, a propane cylinder so we could test the propane. She had just a few electrical issues with tripping breakers. The autopilot wasn't working, and she needed an oil change. Everything else looked good. She was very clean. The engines were in good running order, started right up. The bilges were dry. The bottom looked good with fresh bottom paint. And she had 2 reconditioned sails in excellent shape. She didn't come with a dinghy and needed a few chips fixed to the gel coat. We noticed that there were no curtains or cushions outside, but we didn't notice any spots or leaks. Huge mistake that we made was that we didn't do a sea trial. It would have uncovered so many of the issues that we've been running into. It probably wouldn't have uncovered all of them. It would have given us enough information to at least renegotiate the price and help prepare us for what we would need to do to get Makani back in sailing shape. After a month of delays, rework, and travel back and forth from Texas to Florida, we finally closed and became the proud owners of our new 2006 Lagoon 440 we named Makani. Our closing was late on the 3rd, and we had to be out of the slip by 10 a.m. on the 5th. This gave us little time to move aboard, purchase a life raft, get our dinghy. These guys at Marine Warehouse are awesome. Cannot recommend them enough. They are just awesome people. Helping us get everything set up our motor for us. We didn't even buy the motor from them. Have the engine service, upgrade our anchor and bridle system, and inventory the safety equipment. What a mess. Oh my god, we have so much stuff to put away. First morning on Makani. View from our cabin window. Beautiful sunrise. We purchased a Garmin radar AIS and chart plotter, but didn't have time to install it ourselves, so we hired it done. We also decided to hire out servicing the engines. The workers gave the engines a good once-over. They noticed that one of the engine mounts on the port engine was broken. This seemingly small thing snowballed to the point that we had to haul Makani out when we got to St. Pete. But that story will have to wait for another day. We were very alarmed by the news of the broken mount and checked the survey. It had shown that the mount appeared okay. We already had doubts about the survey results and the fixes that were done, but this made us question everything. That was the beginning of many issues discovered in a short period of time. It was also the start of open checkbooks and shifting priorities. So I kind of feel like one of the people that bought a car from Danny DeVito's character in Matilda. You know how he just glued things on the bumpers and stuff? Because when we got up this morning, the propane, we decided we would go ahead and see about filling it. So they put a cylinder in there, but the cylinder that they put when we went to turn it off, it was leaking. So we had to go buy a new one. Yay. Not only was the cylinder bad, but how it connected to here was bad also. So we had to get a new hose. Fishing?
Yeah, I'm fishing.
Steve dropped a tool, and thus begun a fun little game we called The Sea Giveth and the Sea Taketh Away. So far, the sea's way ahead. Those 2 days went quickly, and it was finally time to move to our anchorage. We were gently advised by our broker to hire a captain to help us down the New River, as multi-million-dollar yachts line the banks, and there are several bridges to clear along the way. We took that advice, and it ended up being the best so far, but not for the reason he suggested. We'll get to that, but first, let's take a minute to enjoy this beautiful ride. Along the way, we filled the diesel tanks. We planned on staying at the anchorage a few days, but ended up here over a month. For now it was time to relax. Maybe we'll take a swim. We didn't even get a chance to change before Makani had other chores in store for us. Steve smelled a strong odor of diesel inside. The fuel tanks are located under the aft cabin beds, so we dismantled our bed and found that the gasket for the generator was leaking, resulting in many gallons of diesel in our bilge. We also discovered that our auto bilge pump wasn't working. Thank God for that. We called the only person we really knew, Dominic, our captain from earlier that morning, and he brought us a vacuum, fuel waste tank, and more diesel absorbent material. We cleaned the bilge and everywhere we could reach around the tank. Then we used some emergency tape as temporary gasket material and stopped the leak. Phew! Crisis avoided. Now to recharge our batteries with the generator. Come on, you've got to be kidding me. This is a joke, right?
2, 3.
Nope, the generator wouldn't start. The air code stated that it needed serviced. Since we just saw it work as condition of closing, this was another big shocker for us. No pun intended. All we could do was fix it ourselves.
It's definitely worn.
Yeah, there's a nick out of it on the one side.
Dominic to the rescue with a few Raycor filters. Then it was up to us to service the beast as best we could.
Nasty.
Our girl needed a change.
Black gold.
Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, our generator's dead.
You already pulled the filter,
Mm-hmm.
which we discovered was a Kubota filter, which is not an Onan. So we actually have the right part number.
Hopefully it screws on and does good.
Yeah.
Our first night at anchor, we took time to enjoy the beautiful sunset. We tried to relax, but in the back of our minds, we weren't sure what tomorrow would bring. A neighboring boat informed us that our anchor light wasn't on. We spent the next few weeks changing out all bulbs to LED and attempting to go up the mast to service the anchor light.
So I personally think this needs replaced. Let's do the hand thing. So you can see it's just kind of up there and the one wire on the inside.
Changing out light bulbs to LEDs. Man, under grinding on the winch shed. One heck of a workout. After 5 failed attempts, with both Steve and I trying to make it to the top, we gave up. And neighbor Rob loves going up the mast and offered to check it out for us. While he was up there, had to check out the view.
And this is your host?
Unfortunately, the light wasn't serviceable, so we need to buy a new one. And we got our first overhead view of Makani. She looks fantastic. Thanks, Rob. We knew that we could handle any problem that Makani would throw at us while close to land, but we weren't confident while at sea. So we decided to wait to leave until we could get an experienced person to go with us. We called around to try to find a captain, but it was spring break and all the captains were busy.
Spring break.
It gets a little loud. You need earplugs?
I need earplugs.
And everybody moves in over the weekend, and that's all right. Glad they do, but they're partying.
One of the party boats is leaving. Now we're going to be down to 3 tunes. Right. Joker Valve Day.
Woohoo! So knowing that it was going to be closer to April before we could leave, we got in a routine of fixing things on Makani, going for afternoon swims, boating to get supplies. So we sit here and wait for each other because we don't have a motor lock right at the moment, or a way to actually strap and lock our dinghy to the dock. So one of us stays with the dinghy while the other one runs to the 7-Eleven to pick up our Amazon order and over to Publix to get a little bit of food. Way to provision, baby. And just hanging out with neighbors. The days went by quickly. It's been about 6 years since we've had our own oven.
Is that your easy bake oven?
Laundry day with our Easy Go washer.
Laundry.
Someone has eagle eyes and picks trash out of the area all the time.
Who did that?
Yeah. Who did that? Stevie did that, and he just happened to find a nice fender.
Bumper.
Fender.
Bumper.
Nice.
We don't bump anything. We fend things off.
Just a quick side note. For us being on a boat, especially a new one to us, it was different from van life. This became blatantly obvious when Steve's dad passed away. Being landside, we would have parked at an airport and jumped on a plane, or just driven to be with family. We couldn't afford the berths at Fort Lauderdale, and being on anchor, Steve wasn't comfortable leaving me by myself. We had only been on her a week or so, and she was challenging both of us. Unfortunately, Steve missed his dad's funeral, and for the first time in over 6 years, we felt the pain of obligations versus being with family. So got off the boat a little bit today, Saturday. Decided we'd take a walk and over to State Park, which is right across from where we're anchored. It's really beautiful, right along the river here, Fort Lauderdale, and we got jungle on the other side. In New Zealand, I wouldn't think twice about going into these woods or into these mangroves, and just would go for it. Here, not so much. Snakes, alligators, poisonous spiders. Yeah, a little bit different. Wow, that's a glorious tree. Look at that thing. Multiple trees, actually. Kind of living in habitat together. Oh no, actually, it was from a single. It's just grown down from the branches to help support it. Wow, impressive. He just kind of hangs out.
I speak turtle.
Do you? It's a little stormy out there. Your hair looks a little wet there.
Well, we had to go out and check the hatches and all, make sure our first rain didn't come through, and we're mostly dry.
Hey.
Mostly, but Mary will have to tell you the window story from starboard.
Oh.
Starboard aft.
Dang it. Well, yeah, I have a hard time with closing some of the windows, especially the little side ones that push down like this. These type of windows. I don't know why I have such a hard time closing those, but I do. And I was so concerned with these top hatches that were open that I forgot to tell Steve that I had left one of those open. And yeah, it flooded the side of the bed. Sorry, Steve, but how it is. Sorry, baby. It's a beach. Our time in Fort Lauderdale came to an end. We were ready to head to Texas and see how Makani handles the ocean. Happily, some friends who are very experienced at sailing joined us for the adventure, and Makani didn't disappoint.
Clean that. Jesus.
Join us next time as we sail to Key West. As always, remember to find your dream and own it.
Safe travels, everyone. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, because you just don't know what the heck we'll do next.